Hello, everyone. Welcome to Honor TV Global. If you are joining us for the very first time, this is Honor Youth World, a program designed for every person out there who wants a direction for his or her life. And it's not just for youth, it is also for every father or mother out there. So I'd like you to pay a very close attention to today's episode. Avoid all distractions and make sure you are putting down something because no knowledge is a waste. My name is Kelvin Jewel, and today I'll be sharing something powerful that changed my life completely. But before we begin today's episode, I would like to appreciate God's servant, my mentor, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, for the privilege to be here and to share a little of what we keep learning from him. Today we shall look at the topic the youth and her conversation. The youth and her conversation. This topic changed my life completely when my father, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, opened my eyes to the mystery behind the tiny word conversation. Now, let me share with you a story and then open your eyes to how important the word conversation is. A teacher called all his students and then brought a single chair in front of them. He asked a question: who can tell me the most important part of the chair? Some said the seat, some said the leg. He looked at them and said, none of you got the answer. The most important part of the chair is the tiny knot that holds the entire chairs together. It is a part that your eyes cannot see or feel, yet it defines everything about the chair. So also it is with our conversation. Conversation is the most important aspect of our life. Sometimes we don't pay attention to them because it looks insignificant to us, but if you take a look at it deeply, it plays a major role in our life because the future you desire begins with the conversation you entertain today. And many destinies have been built by one conversation, and also many lives have also been destroyed by one careless conversation. Now, for us to look into scripture because of the program, now the Bible talks about a little bit about it in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. He said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Notice the Bible didn't say only life, it also mentioned death, which signifies that every conversation is carrying either life or destruction. The Bible also made us to understand that evil communication corrupt good manners. So everything about our life is tied to the conversation that we have. Now let me ask you a simple question. When you have your group of friends, after spending 3 hours together discussing, what exactly do you discuss? Is it people's life? Is it celebrity gossip? Is it betting? Or is it fraud? Is it relationship or politics without solution? Or do your conversation inspire growth, wisdom, purpose, and God's agenda over our life? Many youth today are not suffering because they lack opportunities. Many youth today are suffering because of the conversation surrounding them. And not just only the youth, many marriages, business, families, every one of them are suffering because of the wrong conversation. And every day of our life, we get to have conversations daily. As I'm talking, I am having a conversation with you. So young people don't only become what they are, they become what they consistently hear discuss, believe, and repeat. So your conversation today determines your destination tomorrow. Every conversation is an atmosphere. I learned that from my father, Dr. Maswe Ngodenegbe, that every conversation is an atmosphere. Every conversation is transferring something to you, either positive or negative. So take note of that. Now, I would like to give us 4 biblical examples of people who ended up their life through right conversation and through wrong conversation. And number 1 is Amnon. Amnon conversation with Jonadab. You see that in 2 Samuel verse 13 because of time. Amnon loved Tamar, like the story said. But instead of seeking godly counsel, he spoke with Jonadab. And Jonadab, the Bible describes him as a very crafty person. His advice destroyed Amnon. Why? Because one evil conversation led to rape, and that hatred led to murder. Just take a look at how one conversation destroys an entire family. Now, what does it teach you and I? It teaches us that not every friend is qualified to advise you. Some people may speak well, that's the truth, but they lead badly. Some people may talk to you very well and even boost your morale, but if you take a look at it very carefully, there are people who lead badly. And number 2 example is Rehoboam. Rehoboam listened to wrong friends. You see that in 1 Kings chapter 12. Now, King Rehoboam asked for advice from the elders, and the elders said, serve the people. His young friend also said, show them you are stronger than your father. Conversation. He listened to his age mate instead of wise counsel. And what was the result? The result is simple. The result is a kingdom was divided. Sometimes your greatest enemy is not Satan. Sometimes your greatest enemy is an immature advice taken from people who don't even understand what God has for you. An advice given to you from people who don't even understand the purpose of God for your life. So the most important thing you must take note is that before people start giving you an advice, that is a conversation that leads to an advice, you must first understand, or they must first know where God is taking you to. If they don't have an understanding of where God is taking you to, you do not have a business with them giving you an advice. Number 3 example is Eve conversation with the serpent, and this is where God's servant expatiated more on this topic that I learned so much and it changed my life completely. I'm going to be showing you a clip of what he said about these conversation. But before that, let's take a look at the Eve conversation with the serpent. In Genesis chapter 3, the Bible said the devil never attacked Eve physically. If you read carefully, that's one thing I learned that changed my life completely. The devil never attacked Eve physically. He attacked her through conversation. And what was the conversation? He started with one question. Did God really say? Notice, did God really say? One conversation changed human history. What was the serpent response? He said yes. But if you look at it, you will understand that one of the assignments of the serpent in that conversation was the fact that the serpent planted what I call doubt. You understand? And doubt now produced what? Disobedience. And disobedience produce sin, and sin produce death. What does it mean? Never underestimate one wrong conversation. Never underestimate one wrong conversation. The devil never attacked Eve with anything but with a conversation. That is how powerful a conversation can be. Now let's take a look at more light on how God's servant Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe describe and explain this word conversation, and learn from it. I will be right back.
So my direction today is to create a healthy community that will produce the expected conversations, because there are needed conversations in any situation. There are needed, you can't tell me how you feel should affect how you behave. No. There are needed conversation in any situation. And until you get those conversations right, you will always keep having problems, either with people or with life situations. Because you cannot change the pattern that God created. God created man to speak. You can change that. Now let's look at our conversation processes. Number one, your birth process can also define how you speak. The family you are born into can define how you talk. Number two, how you think can define how you speak. Number three, the trainings you have. Maybe you have any kind of training. You are a mechanic, you are an electrician, you are a trained engineer. All of these trainings can define how your conversations are produced. Because if you are somebody who grew up in a ghetto where people speak Jaguda, you will produce Jaguda conversations. If you grow in a place where people are potchy, well behaved, it will definitely affect your conversation. Number four, your belief. Your belief system can define how you speak. What you believe can define how you speak. You believe that there's no God. That can affect how you talk. You believe that going to church is useless. It can affect how you behave. You believe a kind of way that I am not under control. That can affect how you speak.
Welcome back. I believe you have learned something from that clip. Now, one of the striking words I got from that short clip is that there are needed conversation in every situation. What does it mean? It means that not every conversation is your conversation. Not every conversation requires your opinion. And that is where we missed it a lot. Sometimes you see people jumping into conversation that does not really concern them. Sometimes you see people having conversation that is leading them nowhere. Anytime you are involved in a conversation, it should be to advance a cause and to better a system of someone's life. Take a note of that. Anytime you are involved in a conversation, it should lead to advancing the cause of a person's life or a system that you belong. Now, this takes us to the last example, biblical example, which is Joseph. Joseph's conversation saved an entire nation. You see that in Genesis chapter 41. Joseph stood before Pharaoh. He interpreted the dream. Then he gave wise counsel. His conversation changed Egypt forever. Why? One conversation took him from prison into the palace. Your conversation can become your promotion if you know what you are doing. Your conversation can become your promotion if you know exactly what you are doing as a youth. Now, how to know if a conversation is healthy? How to know if a conversation is healthy? Now, number one, ask yourself 5 questions. Number one, does this conversation glorify God? This conversation that I am about to have with somebody, with a system, does this conversation glorify God? If it does not glorify God, stop the conversation. If it does not make God excited, stop the conversation. If it is not pleasing God, then the conversation is not worth it. So you must understand and ask yourself, does my conversation I want to have with this person, does it glorify God? Does it please God? If it doesn't, it is not a conversation that you need to engage on. Number 2, will this discussion make me wiser? This conversation that I'm about to have with somebody, will this conversation make me wiser? And that is why it is important that when you are having a conversation or when you are building a conversation, you must always go for people who are higher than you. The Bible said the less is blessed of the better. The less is blessed of the better. You cannot find success having a conversation with somebody below your standard. If you want to grow in life, you must always seek a conversation that gets you wiser, that makes you grow from where you are to where you are going to. There should be a lift from a particular location of your life to a better location. Why? Because your conversation with someone has made you more wiser than where you were. So, number 3, if Jesus were physically here, will I still participate? If Jesus were physically here, if it is physical here, will I still participate? Is a question you must ask yourself all the time. Now, number 4, because of time, is this conversation solving problems or creating problems? These are 2 things you must understand here. The conversation I'm having with somebody, is it solving a problem or is it creating a problem? And these things is very important, because if you cannot be having a conversation to kill somebody, you cannot be having a conversation to bring somebody down, you cannot be having a conversation to create more crisis in someone's life or more crisis in a system. Your conversation should be a conversation of solving problems. Anywhere you find yourself and people engage in a conversation with you, one thing they should learn from you is that they have a conversation with you and their life changed completely. They met you, something was not working before. The moment they met you, you completely changed everything. That should be somebody you should become as a youth. You must build a life that when you have a conversation with somebody, it should be solving a problem. It shouldn't be creating problem. In the workplace, it should be solving a problem. In the church, it should be solving a problem. In a small group, it should be solving a problem, not creating a problem. Let's say, for example, somebody engage you with a conversation and then is talking to you about somebody. What do? Excuse me, sir, if you want to speak to somebody about me, let the person be involved. These are conversations that Hebrew brings and solve problems. Number 5 and the last. After leaving this discussion, do you feel inspired or polluted? After having a conversation with somebody, do you feel inspired or do you feel polluted? And that is one thing I have learned, and I keep saying every day, everywhere I go to, that I am not moved by what people say. I am moved by what my spirit accepts and what he agreed. So no matter the volumes of what you say, if my spirit does not filter what I need to take from whatever thing you said, I will not take it. So I am always listening, but it's my responsibility to filter what you have said. So it's either inspiring me or it is polluted before me. And if it is something that inspires me, what do? I take it. If it is something that pollutes my life, what do? I trash it. Why? Because life is important, and conversation is something that takes a man from where it is to where God wants it to be. Now, because of time, what are the practical advice I will give to you? I'm rounding up. What are the practical advice I will give to you? Number one, stop trying to belong everywhere. Stop trying to belong everywhere. Why? Because anytime you try to belong everywhere, you will attract a conversation that leads you nowhere. Number two, choose friends carefully. Choose friends carefully. And number three, protect your ears. Protect what you hear. Protect what comes into you. Protect it at all times. And number four, protect your mouth. Protect what you say. Not everything should come out of your mouth. Not every word is permitted to come out of your mouth. And number five, protect your heart. Protect your heart. And number six, learn to leave conversation that are leading. Learn to leave conversation that are leading nowhere. Remember, silence is better than conversation that destroy destiny. Silence is better than conversation that destroys destiny. Not every invitation deserves your presence, and not every discussion deserves your opinion. And finally, not every argument deserves your energy. This is just a little of what I have learned and what I have received from the lessons of my father. If you want a full dose of this word conversation, go to Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe's page on YouTube. You will see the title there, The Power of Conversation. It will change your life completely. This is something that has changed my life completely. Today, as I speak, not every conversation deserves my energy. There are conversations I don't even want to belong to, because I try as much as possible to analyze the conversation. This conversation I want to have with you now, is it a conversation that is taking me somewhere? If it's not a conversation that is taking me somewhere, I don't have to discuss with you. If it's not a conversation that will, give me fulfillment, there is no need having a conversation with you. So you must always know your stand as a youth. And this is one thing that is most challenging in our life. Now, it's a very broad topic. Okay? It's a very broad topic. In my next episode, I'm going to be bringing a guest to you. We're still going to be talking about the conversation in different dimensions. In family, in business, coming up as a youth. These are things we are going to be learning in our next episode with my guest here on the studio. Don't forget, I remain your host, Kelvin Jewell. See you on Honor TV Global. God bless you.